Okay, so this is a story of how Jonathan Swift, Anglican priest, author of Gulliver's Travels, Modest Proposal, and the best-selling book in England next to the Bible between 1700 and 1750, which is called A Tale of the Tub. I'm sure no one here has read. What Swift did was he thwarted a plan to impoverish and economically enslave Ireland, and he helped create the modern Irish nationalist movement. In 1720, Swift wrote a pamphlet advising the Irish that they should purchase goods manufactured in Ireland from Irish merchants. He believed it was a way to economic independence from England, and that could lead to self-rule in Ireland with only a pledge of loyalty to the king, like many of the other commonwealths. This seems mild and even quaint. We see it on bumper stickers even now, right? Buy American, right? Or less charitably on bumper stickers and slogans that suggest if you purchase anything foreign-made, it's a litmus test for patriotism, or perhaps failure to do so would be treasonous. This pamphlet outraged the English, who could not get to the anonymous writer of the pamphlet, though everyone knew it was Swift. And so they settled for getting a corrupt judge, one William Whitshed, to go after the printer of the pamphlet. Whitshed sent the jury out 11 times, right, and could not force a guilty verdict. The jury refused to deliver. A great Irish defense. So it's against this backdrop that William Wood, a hardware manufacturer, received a patent in 1722 to produce copper coins in the amount of 108,000 pounds. That would be $24 million in today's currency. It was going to be used in Ireland. He received his patent by bribing the Duchess of Kendal 10,000 pounds, or approximately $2 million in today's money. She was mistress of King George I, so there was tacit royal approval and perhaps encouragement. Swift realized immediately that the practical effect of flooding Ireland with copper coins would be that the Irish would have to give up their gold and silver, and they would become economic slaves to the English, who would control everything about the currency. The Irish wanted to have their own national bank. They wanted to mint their own coins. In 1724-25, Swift wrote 7 anonymous letters in the character of a drapier, somebody who makes drapes, a simple Irish merchant who loved his God and country. It was well known who the drapier was, but even by offering a reward in the staggering sum of 300 pounds, right, which would be about $66,000 in today's currency, in a poor country, the English power brokers were unable to find anyone to say that Swift was the author. Swift's political enemy, and he only had really good ones, was the Prime Minister, Horace Walpole. And he became involved because in the 3rd and 4th of the Drapier's letters, he accused Swift of treason for arguing that, quote, the Irish deserve their independence from England, and that the Irish should have self-governance, their own national bank. The claims of treason from Walpole were framed as treason to the English Parliament, since Swift did not advocate treason to the king. It's universally recognized that the Drapier letters were the central force in defeating this proposal and sticking wood with copper coinage that could not be used in Ireland, but later made its way to both America and Australia. Swift was justly recognized as a hero, and through the persona of the Drapier, many critics have claimed that he was the first person to organize a more universal Irish community in its modern sense, although we can debate exactly what constitutes that community. In 1731, Swift, in the manner of many poets and writers, wrote his death poem, although he would live until 1745. And in the late 1730s, he was afflicted with Meniere's disease, which is a disease of the inner ear. It causes vertigo, vomiting, constant ringing in the ears. In his death poem, he addresses the Drapier episode, and he gives his vision of what satire should do. Now, some of the names referred to, Scroggs and Tressilian, you're going to hear, are famously corrupt judges. Swift himself is the dean. So this is from Swift's death poem. The dean did by his pen defeat an infamous, destructive cheat, taught fools their interest how to know, and gave them arms to ward the blow. Envy hath owed it was his doing to save that helpless land from ruin. While they who at the steerage stood and reaped the profit sought his blood. To save them from their evil fate, in him was held a crime of state. A wicked monster on the bench whose fury blood could never quench. A vile and profligate a villain as modern Scroggs or old Tressilian, whom long all justice had discarded, nor feared he God, nor man regarded, vowed on the deemed his rage to vent, and make him in his zeal repent. But heaven his innocence defends, the grateful people stand his friends. Not strains of law, nor judges frown, nor topics brought to please the crown, nor witness hired, nor jury picked, prevailed to bring him in convict. Perhaps I may allow the dean had too much satire in his vein, and seemed determined not to starve it, because no age could more deserve it. Yet malice never was his aim, he lashed the vice but spared the name. No individual could resent where thousands equally were meant. His satire points at no defect but what all mortals may correct. For he abhorred the senseless tribe who call it humor when they jibe, and he spared a hump or crooked nose, whose owners set not up for bows. True genuine dullness moved his pity, unless it offered to be witty. Those who their ignorance confessed he never offended with a jest, but laughed to hear an idiot quote a verse from Horace learned by rote. He knew 100 pleasant stories with all the turns of Whigs and Tories, was cheerful to his dying day, and friends would let him have his way. He gave the little wealth he had to build a house for fools and mad, and showed by one satiric touch no nation needed it so much. That kingdom, Ireland, he hath left his debtor. I wish it soon may have a better. Jonathan Swift.